Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today I'm going to make a corner fan fold inclined ice dye. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to center the shirt, and this process is going to go really fast, but down below in the description for this video is a link to another video which shows how to center a shirt. Essentially what I'm doing is getting both sides of the front of the shirt next to each other and both sides of the back of the shirt next to each other. If I just folded the shirt in half, I would have one side of the front and one side of the back of the shirt right up next to each other. So when I apply the dye to the shirt, those two areas of the shirt would look more similar. Well, I would rather have both sides of the front of the shirt look more like each other and both sides of the back of the shirt look more like each other. So that's the purpose for centering the shirt. Okay, so now that the shirt is centered, I'm going to use a piece of kite string and a washable marker and draw myself an arc on the corner of the shirt. This is the outside corner of the shirt. I'm placing the kite string on the corner and just using it to kind of pivot and draw myself an arc. This is where I'm going to start my fan folds. I'm going to fan fold this line and then I'm going to tie it with some kite string. I'm using kite string for this fold because I don't really care whether or not I have any white definition lines. I'm going to incline ice dye this shirt, so I'm expecting the dye colors to run and move throughout the shirt. Sinew lines will inhibit it just a little bit from moving, and the sinew lines will cause the white definition lines, which I really don't want that. I want the colors to just kind of flow into one another. You could also use rubber bands. I just prefer to use kite string. I think it just works a little easier for me. Once I have the initial line fan folded and tied with kite string, I'm going to continue fan folding and tying with kite string on either side of this initial line. I'm going to incline ice dye this shirt, so what I've done is placed it inside of a piece of vinyl guttering, and then to keep it from sliding down into the muck, I'm going to tie a piece of kite string right at the very end and use a small metal clip which I purchased at the Dollar Tree dollar store to clip the kite string onto the end of the guttering. Okay, so for this shirt, I decided to use some of the Dharma's photo inspiration colors again. If you haven't ever seen those, Dharma has a page out on their website where they use photographs and match colors to match the photograph. So for this shirt, I'm using the Joshua Tree photo inspiration. And the colors that I'm going to use are electric blue, truffle brown, golden brown, camel, herbaceous, and olive drab. These are all Dharma colors. Before I start applying the dye, I'm going to use my washable marker and divide the shirt into 6 sections. It doesn't have to be perfect, I just kind of want a few guidelines on where to apply the dye. I've also put the dye in the order up top in which I'm going to apply it on the shirt. So I'm starting with electric blue, followed by truffle brown, herbaceous, camel, olive drab, and golden brown. The shirt has been sitting for a few days, so it's pretty much dry. To make it a little easier for the dye to adhere to the shirt, I'm going to spray it with a little bit of soda ash solution that I've placed inside of a spray bottle. Then I'm just going to apply the dye to each of the sections. Now over the top of the dye, I'm going to add a little bit of additional soda ash. I'm going to go ahead and apply the ice while the shirt is still laying flat on my table. I think it's just kind of easier to press that ice into the shirt when it's laying flat. I ran out of the smaller pieces of ice, so I'm having to use some of the 2-inch ice cubes that I make. Once I have the ice on the shirt, I'm going to take it outside and I'm going to incline it. I have a plastic tub or tote, which I'm going to place one end of the vinyl guttering down in, and then I'm going to put the other end up on a chair which I have outside. That's going to put it at an incline. I allowed all the ice to melt, then I came back and added another layer of ice and allowed it to melt as well, and then processed for about 24 hours after that second layer melted. Then I took the shirt to my utility sink and I started rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. I untied the shirt and warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing to rinse out any of the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. Instead of continuing to rinse for a long time, I ran some really hot water in my utility sink, added some Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water. Blue Dawn is a pH neutral dish soap, so it will help neutralize the pH of the water and hopefully keep some of the colors that are soaked out of the shirt from rebonding with the shirt someplace else. When the water cooled off, I changed it out and I continued that soaking process until the water was almost clear. Then I put the shirt along with some Dharma's professional textile detergent into my washing machine and I washed it using a hot water cycle. So now that the shirt has been washed and dried, this is what it looks like. Okay, so what do you think? I think this one looks pretty cool. The truffle brown traveled, I think, the furthest down the shirt, and I think it looks really good. About the only color that I'm kind of having a little bit of trouble finding is the herbaceous. I put that color after the truffle brown and before the camel. So I see the camel because I think that's the yellow color, and then the olive drab came next, and the golden brown was last. That, I don't see a whole lot of it because that's kind of up right near the neck of the shirt, but I think the herbaceous just kind of got lost in there. That's my fault though, because I put it next to the truffle brown, so I think it just kind of overtook it. But overall, I like the shirt. I like this color combination. I think it works out really well. I'm a little curious whether some of the colors that didn't run quite as far, they were down at the very bottom of my guttering. And that's where I added that bigger ice. I don't know whether maybe that had something to do with it because it wasn't kind of as melty and juicy as the other ice that was up closer or up at the top. But I do think it looks really cool. There's some kind of a weird little face like up in that green area, that olive drab area, right up toward the neckline of the shirt, kind of right in the middle at the neckline. There's some face. I don't know what it is, but it looks kind of cool. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you like this shirt? Drop me some comments down below and let me know. And if you've enjoyed watching this video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.